Good day. This is Pastor Lance of Breakthrough Ministry. And I just wanted to come up here to give a testimony today because I know testimonies is what helps keeps us encouraged. It's what helps increase our faith in God. I know we have the Bible for a reference, but when we read the Bible, sometimes it feels like what God did was way back when. We want to see what God is doing today for people like us, for you and I, for what is he doing for my fellow brothers and sisters? What is he doing for somebody else that can encourage me, that can strengthen me, that can guide me, that can lead me, that can help me in my current situation? And I know, I just feel like every day is a trial. Just waking up in the morning to want to do right is a trial when we live in a world that's telling us to do everything wrong. When we live in a world that's telling us it's okay to cheat, it's okay to lie, it's okay to misuse, it's okay to judge, it's okay, but it's not okay. And that fight for good over evil and righteous over unrighteous, it's a struggle every day. It's a real struggle. But with God, we can endure. With God, we can overcome. With God, we can say no. With God, we can resist the devil. With God, we can resist temptation. I remember when my son was younger and he was hyper, as I don't know what. I mean, just zoom, zoom, zoom. Wouldn't even sit still in the classrooms. And I remember his doctor, let's put him on some medication. He got ADHD. Let's throw him on some meds. And, and due to some of the things I revealed, it was like, oh, he has a history, on his dad's side. So, hey, let's just throw him on some medication and, things like that. And I remember saying, nah, I don't want to put my son on no medicine. I'm going to deal with my son. I'm going to adjust myself to his schedule. I want to wake up 7 o'clock in the morning and Zoom. I'm going to do these things. And I remember in school, they said we have to give him a, what is that thing called in school? I can't think of that term right now, but it's like some type of like special education in the sense where they take him out of classroom, help him with his reading comprehension and things like that. He was a 32-week-old twin, and he struggled a lot with health issues and things like that. So let me back up a little bit. So when he was born, he had a floppy windpipe. So his asthma was severe. And I stayed in the hospital so many nights. I mean, just in the emergency room overnight for monitoring. And it's just, his asthma was just horrific. And I had 2 other kids to take care of. So I had to rely on family members or to watch them too. Or I just had to take them with me in the hospital. And the reason they used to release him to me because they knew I took care of my son. They knew I would give him his albuterol. They knew I would make sure he get his medication. They knew that I would do everything they required of him. And sometimes we used to go in the emergency room and his oxygen was so low when we got there. I mean, the emergency room packed. They had to rush him to, the back to go ahead and get his oxygen and everything back up. And I remember them telling me, we would send a specialist and everything. And I was always over at CHKD to the lung specialist. And I remember them saying that, hey, he may outgrow this when he become an adult, or more than likely he'll have this for the rest of his life due to his floppy windpipe and things like that. And I remember going to God saying, no, not my son. He can't play sports, not football, can't maybe run track. He can't do certain things. If he needed to go in the military or wanted to go in the military, he wouldn't be able to. It was just all of these obstacles that I saw for a future for my son of a hindrance of asthma. And I remember praying. And I was praying. I was taking it to the throne of God. And I remember God telling me, when you exit this door and you go through this door, his asthma will be no more. And I remember, I was like, okay, you want me to exit a door to go through another door in order for my son to be healed. So basically what God was telling me, if you leave this sin that is causing a hindrance to your son, I will remove that hindrance that your son is enduring. And I remember, I didn't do it immediately. No, we never do, right? But I remember when I walked out of that door and I closed the door that God was telling me to exit, that I was involved in sin, and I opened up that new door of opportunity that God had for me and my kids. I didn't go back to not one lung specialist ever. That boy can run a marathon. Wouldn't have no issues ever. He played football in middle school. No issues whatsoever. Didn't have not one issue whatsoever. So, God's plan. ADHD? No, never gave him medication. I adjusted to him. I told every teacher all the way through elementary school, when we went in to meet the teachers, I said, hey, my son don't sit still. He gonna need his time to get up. And you know what every teacher told me? I don't mind him getting up, walking around his classroom, as long as he don't disturb the other students. Never been an issue in school. He got up, looked around, did his thing, sat back down, got through it. By the time he reached middle school, it was gone. The special program, that term will come to me later. I know a lot of y'all know about it because, all of our kids or one of our children, somebody we know had to get on that program. I remember elementary school, 5th grade, when he finished, they said, we're going to carry this over to middle school. I said, no, we're not. It's a thing called bullying. You will not be coming to take him out of his classroom, doing any of that. I'll do what I got to do to help my son manage, help my son get through. And I mean, this was a child who struggled mentally, who struggled with comprehension, struggled with math, struggled reading, hated reading. I mean, struggled. But he loved the Lord. He praised God. He was in church, and God showed his favor time after time after time after time. And I remember middle school was kind of a struggle. High school was a breeze. Now college, going on his 3rd year, he has made the dean's list, got all A's and B's. The same person who I was told he needed medication, who I was told that he was special ed, who I was told all these things. See, when God put his hands on something, can't nothing or nobody take it out of him. Nothing or nobody. I gave my son and dedicated my children to God at a young age. I had my children in church, and every time a doctor, anybody told me, a teacher, there was a problem, I went to God to handle it. I went to God to solve it. I went to God to take care of it. So I'm here to encourage you and to tell you that I don't care what the diagnosis is. I don't care what somebody with a PhD or somebody with a medical degree may have said over you or yours. I'm telling you to take it to the throne of God, because he got the final say so over our today and over our tomorrow. It's not the fact that their diagnosis is wrong. It's the fact that their diagnosis, they don't have the cure that God has for it. They don't have the cure that God has. They don't have that. They lack the understanding of the spiritual and the physical, and that is okay. They doing their job that they're required to do. Now, we as parents, as mothers, as grandchildren, however, who representative you of, or if it's for yourself, to take it to God. To take it to God and say, Lord, this is what they said. This is not what I want. This is not how I want the future to be. And only you can change the now and change for what's to become. So Lord, do a work in this individual. Do a work in me. Do a work. Are you willing to release that sin to save your child? Are you willing to release that sin to save yourself? Are you willing to let go so God can in your life or the life of your loved one? I was just sitting here and God was just reminding me. Remember I did this? Remember I did that? Remember how he was? And I'm just like, Lord, I thank you. My son is an overcomer because of who I praise, who I serve, and who he now praise and serve. I'm grateful. My son, he cuts grass. That's his main little on the hustle. He couldn't do that with all that asthma the way he does. God knew what his future detailed and knew that asthma would be a hindrance, that his lack of communication or understanding would be a hindrance of effectively comprehending what someone may say they want done. And God removed every obstacle that somebody said was an obstacle in his life. God removed it. So I didn't know who needed to hear it. But sometimes our testimonies can be for somebody else to get through what they're going through. So I don't know who it may help, but I'm telling you that you got this because God got you. Amen.